Good afternoon and welcome to Coffee with a Kick. I'm, of course, am that one and only Xander. That's the one and only Keegan. And we're back here for Matchday 27. I would say a nearly eventful weekend. There's some things that were going to go crazy, except for one thing. And then nothing ended up happening, aside from some pretty good matches. Which I'd say is always to our benefit. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. All right, well, enough incredible witty banter. Let's go ahead and get into the action. Starting off with Brentford and Chelsea. A 2-2 draw between Brentford and Chelsea that we both ended up getting wrong because we both thought that Chelsea would actually win this one. In fact, they almost lost it with that really nice Wissa goal there in the 69th minute. Good volley by him there. Bike. It was a full bike, really. Kind of a scrummy little goal there for Brentford. But, you know, the Bees looked good. We said they were lacking sting, but they hung with Chelsea the whole time.
Yeah, it felt like a regression for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like Brentford necessarily played better than they had. They were just afforded more opportunities, and they took advantage of those opportunities. Just when you think Chelsea is figuring something out, they go and draw Brentford. So it was a tale of two halves, though. Brentford was
for sure
the much better side in the second half.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, and it was Brentford was given opportunities, and Chelsea did not capitalize on theirs. Nicholas Jackson had what should have been a goal there in the 30th minute. He made up for it in the 35th and got his goal. Cole Palmer's mess up in the 61st, he did not make up for, aside for the assisted Disasi. But really, Brentford let themselves down here in the 83rd by letting Disasi get in on the backside unmarked, and they just really fell asleep on it. So, you know, it came back to bite them in the end. And Chelsea kind of got away with it here because it was a 2-2 that could have very easily been 2-1 or even 3-1. There's some chances that Brentford had there after the 69th that could have definitely gone in. That wraps up that one. Then we move to Everton with a 1-3 victory for West Ham, something that I got correct here. But I would say that this one is 1-3 does not tell the tale here at all for this match. Everton actually looked pretty good for a lot of the match, and were winning minimally. They only led for 6 total minutes here, but it starts off with really nothing happened in the first half except for a penalty kick got saved. That's really about it. Everything else shoved into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, everything else really shoved into the final stoppage time. I mean,
aside from that 6 minutes there, yeah.
Neck and neck throughout the entire match. And then West Ham just blitzes them there at the end with a couple of pretty nice goals. So ultimately, I think I predicted a 1-1 draw, maybe.
Yes, you did.
So that was disappointing to see West Ham score those 2 goals. But good on West Ham. They're the better team. They've been the better team all season. It's expected for them to come in. I mean, they didn't really play that well in this game. I mean, no. Everton looked the better side for most of the match. It just, kind of like Brentford. They just let themselves down there at the end when they really needed that defense to hold up.
Yeah, and the Alvarez goal there in the 90+5, Everton was mounting a pretty good attack, but the counterattack by West Ham, they were able to pull off that counterattack very efficient like they have for a lot of the season there in the 90+5 and put it out of reach for good. Then to one we both got wrong here, Fulham beating Brighton 3-0. Of course, everyone and their brother besides us knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, Fulham's back. You know, maybe they're going on their streak again. Who knows? But they're back.
Yeah, it was, and it really Brighton didn't have a lot going on in the match in total. I mean, they had a lot of possession, but none of it was very useful in the end. I mean, they end up having the same amount of shots on goal as Fulham when they won the possession split 70-30, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And Fulham's goals were really nice. I mean, the 21st minute, they basically just overpowered the backside, the Brighton backside there. And then in 90+1, Adama Traore, 2 matches in a row that he gets a signing. This time, though, he gets the goal when Brighton were overpowered again there with the long ball through. And just wasn't a good look for Brighton. I don't know what it was. I mean, I guess they're just not the best side this year. But Fulham, good for them. They are definitely safe now on 35 points. They don't have a shot of going down with how many L's we're hanging on the lower end of the table right now. I think 30 points was a good goal for us to set there a few weeks ago. I think 30 points and you're going to be safe for this season. Then to one I'd rather not talk about, but, such is life. Newcastle beats my Wolves 3-0 with Jose Sa and Neto going off at the half with injured. So that's great. Really like that. But in the end, they gave up 2 goals in the first half, my Wolves. Both of them pretty weird, unlucky goals. The first one being a deflection off of a good defensive play that falls right to Alexander Isak, who puts it on the backside with the header. The second one, it was a wet day there in Newcastle, and the ball slips through Sa's fingers, finds Anthony Gordon on the backside. And even the 90+2 with Livramento, my Wolves had pushed pretty well, even with missing Neto there on the attacking side, who we run a lot of stuff through. We had some options. We had some shots at it, but at the end, it was just even more unluckiness there on the backside with another deflection finding its way to the person who puts it in.
Yeah, honestly, the way this match went, it really should have been a 0-0 draw. But unlucky was going to be the word I was going to put. It kind of felt like everything was going against Wolves. Maybe it's the home field advantage per se, but yeah, I mean, Newcastle didn't really. They earned the win, but they didn't really earn the win. It did kind of feel like they got lucky enough. And Wolves they pressed and pushed several times. They just couldn't get the same amount of luck.
Nah, it was... I feel like we don't play well in the rain for some reason. I feel like our other matches that we've had in the rain have not gone our way either. But we fought to the end, even though luck was against us in that day. Not exactly the message you want coming out of there, but Newcastle's a good squad. They're getting back healthy, and we've got Fulham coming up next, so we'll see what happens. We'll see. Then to the next match day, which is Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. This one, speaking of not a lot happening until the very end, that was this match. 4 total shots on goal across the whole match. I felt like Liverpool took this one for granted the whole match. A lot of hero ball, not a lot of quality shot. 22 shots in total for Liverpool, 2 on target. So I feel like my take of it being that there was a lot of hero ball going on from Liverpool, that they were like, we're just going to beat Nottingham Forest. Like, we're not going to lose to these guys. And they end up almost drawing because Nottingham did pretty well. I mean, they were hanging with them for the most part.
This was my trap game prediction.
Yeah.
With all the injuries, I just predicted it was going to be a close one. It's really tough to see them get that goal at the very end. One, it's on Nottingham. They just could not clear the ball.
Yep.
Hudson-Odoi then basically gets his pocket picked by McAllister, who provided the assist. It's on them, but boy, 90+9.
90+9 when you're slated for 7. So,
yeah. I mean, obviously at the very end, I think 2 coaches and a defender for Nottingham Forest got red cards because they were just arguing over and over again. Because 90+7, Nottingham had cleared it with 96.5. So I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think the ref would have kept it going until Liverpool scored. So,
yeah.
But they got it. They got it. So hats off to them for getting it.
They pulled it off, even though they didn't really deserve the win. They pulled it off. Then to London Stadium, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, I should say, one of our London derbies. Spurs take down Crystal Palace 3-1. Oh, I got the Nottingham Forest one right because I thought Liverpool would win. Your draw almost came through there. And we both missed the Wolves one. This one we both got right. Tottenham took care of Crystal Palace, even though, speaking of leaving it till late and a brief time span, Spurs are down going into the 75th minute. Then by the 90th, they're up 3-1. A pretty crazy swing of momentum in this one.
Yeah, this was a Tottenham-style game. Like, just quick succession, get on a hot streak. Similarly, like a basketball player, all right, we know we're feeling it. Let's just ride the hot hands. And, yeah, I mean, 77 to 88, 11 minutes, 3 goals. I didn't think they were going to score that quickly. After Werner scored, it kind of felt like Tottenham would get the victory, but definitely not like that. I felt like Palace deserved a little bit more. By the way, they played defense. They played very good defense up to that point.
Yeah, and it was a really nice free kick there by Etsy for his goal. But yeah, it was just it's hard to give a team 80% possession and park the bus that hardcore. I mean, they had 1 shot on goal, and it was their goal. 4 other shots in total for Crystal Palace. 78.2 to 21.8. That's a hard match to win. You're asking a lot of your defense, and I think it shows here that they just got tuckered out, and it just happened so quickly. It just happened so quickly there for Spurs. But
Son's goal was a classic Son goal. Little breakaway, just forward pass, peels around a defender, puts it in. It was suitable for a Tottenham ceiling goal.
Yep. But we both ended up getting this one correct, so that's good. Then to one. I almost got this one correct here. I said this was going to be a fun 3-3 draw. Ends up being a 2-3 victory for Aston Villa over Luton. It was a fun match. Luton, I know they're probably going down, but it was still a pretty fun match, back and forth a lot. Luton, I think if they take care of some of those opportunities there after their second goal, the Carlton Morris goal, which was really nice, by the way, catching that ball across on the fly on the backside of the free kick was really nice. But they had some really nice opportunities after that I feel like they could have gotten a 3-3 draw, but just wasn't to be. Aston Villa came to their senses essentially with the Louis Digne. I'm not sure. Is he French? Probably. 89th minute goal. I think he is French. I think I actually looked him up.
He is French. That's right. Digne. Yeah, I mean, Aston Villa showed their top 4 resolve, though, with this win. I feel like last year Aston Villa probably would have fallen off, maybe even lost. This year showed their resolve, got the necessary 3 points. It feels like they may stay in that top 4 realm after this win.
Yeah, I think next week's going to be really big for that. Yep, this upcoming weekend. There's some really big matches this upcoming weekend with Spurs. Is Spurs hosting? No, Villa hosting Spurs, and then Liverpool hosting City this upcoming weekend. So buckle in because that is some high-flying action going on there. Some big-time ramifications for that, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Luton, unfortunately, couldn't get the point. Really could have used it. I mean, they're still 4 points short of Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest is giving them the opportunities to gain points on them, and they're just not doing it. Yeah. I mean, across the past 2 match days, the bottom six teams have accrued 2 points across all 6 of those teams, with Brentford getting the draw this week and Everton getting a draw last week. or in the midweek, I should say. No, that was last week. So 2 points so far across the bottom 6 teams going back the last 2 match days. So, but none of these teams are really trying to get out of the relegation threat, it seems like. But we'll move on to one of the teams who is trying to get out of it. Bournemouth wins against Burnley, taking it, 2-0. We both got this one wrong because you thought Burnley was going to go out with it, and I thought it was going to be a draw.
Yeah, this one was interesting. I felt like Burnley, probably a match that they should have won. I mean, they basically doubled every statistic of Bournemouth, 75-25 possession. Burnley looked the better team. But as we've seen throughout the entire year, a lot of their chances are not actually quality chances or even good chances. Like, I mean, some of their shots on target were just deflections that puttered to the goalie. I mean, Bournemouth takes it early and takes it late. And convincing 2-0 victory. But I really think Burnley missed a chance here. Like, they played better. They should have won it. And they didn't even get a point.
Nothing at all out of it. Yeah, I mean it was tough. Neto won it for. We've had a lot of matches this season where goalkeepers have made a huge difference. I remember some of the earlier matches with now I'm not going to remember his name. Not going to come to me. Whatever. But yes, this was tough for Burnley. 75% possession to Bournemouth's 25%. They get hit on that counterattack in the 88th with Semenyo, putting it out of reach finally. It's just they had their chances, and as we've seen with Burnley, they refused to capitalize. Then to the headline of the weekend.
That's a good way to put it. They don't even want to capitalize. Yeah. They're refusing to actually win.
They won't do it. They have chances, they just don't do it. Then to the headline match, the Manchester derby. Pretty nervy for a while there. Marcus Rashford opening it up in the 8th minute with a banger. But City does take it 3-1 in the end over United with a very resolute second half performance. Phil Foden matching Rashford's goal to a certain extent as far as quality is concerned. You could say Foden was a little bit better because he dribbled himself into it and Rashford just kind of plucked it out of a very nicely laid off ball. But both of them were very nice goals. But I felt like once Phil got the one in the 56th minute, you could feel the momentum building. City, one of the commentators said it last week that City is so dangerous because they don't have to change how they play in order to win games. They can do the same thing whether they're up 5 goals or down 1 goal, and they don't have to adjust to what you're doing in order to win the match. And that's what happened here. Manchester United let them just keep coming at them. Just keep coming at 73-27 was the possession split. And if it's tough to do that against a side who was it I was just talking about doing that? Crystal, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. If Crystal Palace is letting Spurs do that, City's better than Spurs. So it wears away at you. And Phil Foden sneaks into it. Haaland gets his in the 90+1. And, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I mean, first half, Rodri had just an unforgivable miss. And he makes up for it there at the end by providing the assist to Haaland. But
Haaland had his own unforgivable miss as well in the first half. Skying it. He Wondolowski'd it. Let's be honest. He Wondolowski'd it.
It was first half not great. Felt like we weren't even in the match. Second half, Pep gives his pep talk. And Foden, it seems like in these matches, Foden just comes alive when we need him. Like I think in the past 4 or 5 Manchester derbies, he's been the one to seal it or just dominate. I Foden's great. These matches, he always comes and lives up to his potential. Glad Holland got a goal. I felt like after that first half miss, he may go back into a slump. So glad to see that he put it past Onana to get his Premier League goal scoring back up.
Yeah, and Onana just continues to be a wild card for Manchester United because he sprung their goal there in the first half with a great kick up to Fernandes. But then on Phil's 80th minute goal, like, he should have stopped that shot. It wasn't that incredible of a shot. He got beat far post from a tight angle, got his hand on it, but not enough to keep the ball out. But it wasn't like it was a thundering strike by Phil. It was a good hit, but I still feel like he should have gotten the save on that. So Onana continues to be a very up and down performer there for Manchester United in goal. Leading us to, I mean, I don't know how much we want to talk about this. It's truly embarrassing. Arsenal beating Sheffield United 6-0 here on the Monday action, with 5 of those goals coming in the first half, tied for the most goals and a half in the Premier League history. What do you say about this? It was truly embarrassing performance by Sheffield United.
Yeah, Sheffield United has given up on their season because even starting the match, they didn't look convinced that they wanted to be there. And after the Odegaard goal, it just kind of felt like they knew that, hey, if we can keep them under 10, we're going to have a good game. So, I mean, yeah, not much to say. They got slaughtered. It was not close. They barely even got above, like, what was their possession? 19% possession.
Man.
That's counting when it's your goal kick and throw-ins. So they probably only had the ball for like 8% of the time the entire match.
4 total shots, 0 shots on goal.
Yeah.
And you know what's always a good idea is when you're coming up against a side that's hot and scoring a lot, you should probably change your defensive formation from a back 5 to a back 4. That seems like it's going to work well for you. The commentators pointed that out, and immediately after that, they just get picked apart by Arsenal. And it could have been worse. I mean, there were 2 chances before the 4th minute goal that Arsenal could have put away pretty easily on a different day. 5th minute goal, excuse me. But it was, as much as
second half, Arsenal did not care to be there.
No,
it was clear that, like, especially after the Ben White goal, they didn't really care to get another one. It was just, let's pass it around until the ref blows the whistle. That was the embarrassing part for me.
Yeah. And even then, you can't get above 20% possession. You know, when Arsenal doesn't even care. It's as much as Burnley, it still feels like they're trying in some of their matches. They just don't have the talent to convert. Sheffield just doesn't care, it feels like. They're yelling at each other all the time on the backside. Deservedly so. Like, they're missing assignments all the time. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. We'll see if they can make it back up next season. I have my doubts. You know, I feel like they won't want to come back up. You know, like, let's stay in the championship for a little while and, like, win some things.
This is the 7th time this season they've given up 5 or more goals.
Woof.
I mean,
7th.
Newcastle beat them 8-0. Still not that bad.
I know.
Arsenal beat them 5-0 in the reverse fixture. So, 7 times in the Premier League they've given up 5 goals.
Yeah. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. But that is the week that was match day 27. I went 5-5 on the match day. You went 4-6. Some of those
were so close. So close. That
Liverpool Nottingham Forest. I mean, I know you actually almost got it right, but still, let's try it. We haven't had a 3-7 in like 2 weeks. So, improvements, little small mercies. Then to the midweek actions. What? I did my best Tim Allen there. We've got the Champions League back for reverse fixtures of the round of 16, starting later today, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bayern takes on Lazio, with Lazio bringing in a 1-goal difference lead. And Real Sociedad hosts PSG, with PSG carrying in a 2-goal cushion. How do you see these two going here for Tuesday?
It's hard to bet against Bayern, but they just haven't been playing well in any competition recently. They're playing so bad that Tuchel already announced he's leaving at the end of the season.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
But they don't want to fire him right now because they have there's like some sort of compensation package. So whatever. Anyways, he's already leaving at the end of the year. So what is there to play for? I think this one ends up 1-1. It's a draw, and I think Lazio advances. I don't think Bayern has the momentum or the really drive to do anything in this match. I think they end up getting kicked. And then
go ahead. Do the other one.
For Sociedad and PSG, hard to... Sociedad is good. I think they're good enough to score in this one, but I don't think they're good enough to overcome a 2-0 deficit.
Yeah.
I think PSG... I actually think this is a draw, 2-2. I just think PSG has a little bit more firepower to get them out of this now that they're up 2-0.
Yeah, I've got the PSG Real Sociedad going 1-1. I just think that PSG maybe gets one early and then settles back. Real Sociedad gets one later on, tries to press, and just PSG sandbags it. Two goal cushion's really nice. Like and I think that they carry that through to the round of 8, the quarterfinals. For the Bayern Lazio, man, they're at home, Bayern, and I've got it as they win it 2-1 and then 5-3 on PKs. They go through to PKs and win it in PKs 2-1. 5-3 is what I picked. Very specific, but that's what I have here. I just feel like they're at home. They're going to be trying. I don't know if they. Let's see. Have you checked the Bundesliga standings recently?
I know they're not on top. That is what I know. Let's check it out. They are. Right, they are 10 points off the lead of the Bayer Leverkusen.
Boy, that is quite a spread. Mind the gap here in the Bundesliga. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Xabi Alonso, he's Leverkusen's manager, and they have not lost yet.
Wow. Yep. 20 wins, 4 draws. That is impressive, to say the least. Yeah, so really, they'd be hard-pressed to catch Leverkusen at this point, so maybe they'll focus on the Premier League a little bit more. The Champions League a little bit more. Try to get something out of that. Like you said, Tuchel's already confirmed that he's out after this, so maybe get one for the Gipper. But Lazio, it's just hard to see Bayern getting bounced after going undefeated through the group stage. I mean, it's a different team at this point, sort of, as far as performance-wise, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think that they sneak through by the skin of their teeth. Then we go to Wednesday for Real Madrid, up 1-0 on the goal difference, hosting RB Leipzig, and then 3-1 cushion for Manchester City over Copenhagen, and they are hosting the Copenhagen team there at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. I think City does fine. I think they take it 4-1. A nice, easy win there for them. And then for the Real and Leipzig one, I've got that as a 3-0 victory for Real, actually, over Leipzig. I could see it maybe getting snuck by Leipzig. But what do you think?
Yeah, City, similar scoreline. I don't think Copenhagen scores, though. I have 4-0. I think Pep will definitely be wanting to play around with the lineup, getting ready for Liverpool.
Yep.
So I think that it's mostly the starters, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's like a couple of randos thrown in there. But 4-0.
I'm smelling an Oscar Bob starting spot.
I'm smelling the most English name I've heard in a while, Oscar Bob. Real Madrid, hard to pick them to lose. They also have not been playing well domestically. Because of their Champions League history, I'm going to say they draw 1-1 and they win just based on having the 1-0 aggregate going into it.
Yep.
But Leipzig's playing pretty well. They have a really good attack. Real Madrid's got some injuries. I thought their injuries were going to pop up a little bit more in the last match week, but Leipzig just couldn't get it going.
No.
So, I don't know. Real Madrid is the Champions League, so I think they 1-1. They draw. They similar to what Lazio for me does. They just kind of squeak through on a draw.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd seen Bayern go out in the round of 16 would be quite interesting. Lazio, I don't know if how deep they've been previously, but that's certainly not a name you expect to see in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But we will see. We will see here in pretty short order who we've got for half of the round of quarterfinals. The round of quarterfinals. Ooh. Going into a few weeks from now. Let's see, that won't be until they haven't scheduled them yet. But probably there'll be another week off, and then they'll go to the quarterfinals after that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, that then is the week that will be the quarterfinal, the round of 16 for this side of the bracket, whatever. Do we have a trivia question for this week?
Oh, yeah. I picked this one because, well, it doesn't matter. All right.
Doesn't matter.
Which current player has the most appearances in the Premier League?
Which player has the most current appearances in the Premier League?
Which current player, yeah.
Which current player? All right, so who is the old head who has the most appearances in the Premier League right now? It was recently broken in the last either year and a half or year. It was recently broken within the last 18, 24 months. That's my hint. Broken that, wait, so...
He assumed the first position
from another active player or recently another active player. So interesting. All right. Well, have that be percolating here in the next couple days while we watch the Champions League, and then come back on Thursday for our recap and preview episode for a big week in the Premier League coming up this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So, keep all that in mind. And until we see you next time, why don't you go ahead and grab some coffee, watch some soccer, and we will see you on the other side. Hoorah!